and they did an interview with me, and the lady came back to my mom and she said, "This is the most enthusiastic, positive kid I have ever met in my entire life. But he's so severe that the chances are he probably will not graduate from high school, and he should probably look into going to a trade school because there's no way that he's going to be able to navigate his way through college." Okay? Little did she know that I figured out I was a genius. And that happened in that same year. I went to band. And when I was at band, I realized I had the ability to play multiple instruments. I wanted to play the saxophone, but that was too cool, and I was beat out, and so I had to play trombone, which was less cool. Okay? I then got to play the saxophone the next year and continued to learn trombone. I later picked up trumpet, and then I later picked up the piano and percussion. Okay? I could learn any instrument I put my hands on. It was very easy for me. Now, I had a severe reading problem where when I look at things, they were backwards. Okay? Even numbers. But when I played in band, I never flipped a note in my entire life. I never read it backwards or forward. The beauty of it is that they noticed that. And I started to read with a metronome. And I never missed a word after that. Not once. Okay? And I found that when parameters were set around me, and someone didn't say, just do this, but told me to do 5 different things, like 5 different instruments, gave me a time limit, that I could do it 10 times faster than the regular student. Because when I get stuck somewhere, I'd bounce over to the next one, and then I'd bounce, and then I'd bounce back, and I'd be done a lot quicker than everyone. When this happened, I was the only SPED kid in my high school that had a 4.0 every single year, 3.8 every once in a while. I did graduate from high school. I did go to college. I graduated as a top research student in American Studies. And I've been studying ethnomusicology and the abilities related to dyslexia and ADHD and how they can be unlocked through music. And I'm going to give you those strategies today. So it's going to be some good stuff. But music was the thing that unlocked it. But it transferred into academics. So if you're not a music teacher, you can take these strategies and transfer them into academics. I promise you. We have no TV in our house. 0. And so we read a lot of books. And the funny thing is people love to give me books. People give me books all the time. But the funny thing about it is they always say, "I found this great book. It's exactly how you work." And so I have a million books of exactly how I was. But I think Sarah Pennypacker, she, in the book Clementine, she will describe in this chapter, I'm going to do a reading for you right now, I think she will draw a picture of this student very well for you, okay? So just relax, going through mode. Okay, here we go. I've had not such a good week. Well, Monday was a pretty good day, if you don't count hamburger surprise at lunch and Margaret's mother coming to get her, or the stuff that happened in the principal's office when I got sent there to explain that Margaret's hair was not my fault, and besides, she looks okay without it. But I couldn't because Principal Rice was gone trying to calm down Margaret's mother. Someone should tell you not to answer the principal's phone while she's out of the office, if that's a rule. Okay, fine. Monday was not so good of a day, which was a surprise because it started off with 2 lucky signs, which fooled me. First, there was exactly enough banana slices in my cereal, 1 for every spoonful. Then, as soon as I got to school, my teacher said, "The following students are excused from journal writing so they can go to the art room to work on their Welcome to the Future projects." And I was one of the following students. So instead of having to think of things to write in my journal, which I hate, I got glue and paint stuff, which I love. Margaret was in the art room. When I sat down next to her, she threw herself across the Princess from the Future mask she was gluing sparkles onto. "Remember the rules," she warned. Margaret's in the 4th grade, and I am in the 3rd. She thinks that makes her the boss of me, and I hate Margaret's rules. "You can't touch my stuff," she said. which she always says. Why? I said, which I always say. Because it's the rule, Margaret said, which she always says. Why? I said. Because you can't touch my stuff, she said. And then I pointed out the window, which wasn't exactly lying, because I didn't say there was something out there. While Margaret was looking out the window, I accidentally touched her mask twice. Okay, fine. Then I got busy working on my project, so I wouldn't have to hear any Clementine pay attentions. Except I did anyways, which was unfair because each time I was the only person in the whole art room who was paying attention, which is why I could tell everyone right in the middle of the Pledge of Allegiance that the lunchroom lady was sitting on the janitor's car and they were kissing. Again, no one else saw this disgusting scene because no one else was paying attention out the window. And after that, when it was my turn to pass around the stapler, I could tell everyone that the art teacher's scarf had an egg stain on it that looked, if you squinted, exactly like a pelican, which nobody else had noticed. Clementine, you need to pay attention, the art teacher said one more time, and just like the other times, I was paying attention. I was paying attention to Margaret's empty seat. Margaret had been excused to go to the girls' room, and when she left, she had scrunched up don't cry eyes and pressed down don't cry mouth. And she had been gone a really long time, even for Margaret, who washes her hands one finger at a time. I need to go to the girls' room, I told my teacher. And that's where Margaret was, all right, curled up under the sink with her head on her knees. Margaret, I gasped, you're sitting on the floor. Margaret hitched herself over to one side a little so I could see. She placed a germ-protective layer of paper towels under her. Still, I said, what's the matter? Margaret pressed her head down hard into her knees, which were all shining with tears. She pointed up. Lying on the sink next to a pair of do not remove from the art room scissors was a chunk of straight brown hair. Uh-oh. Come out, Margaret, I said. Let me see. Margaret shook her head. I'm not coming out until it's all grown back. Well, I think I see a germ crawling up your dress. Margaret jumped out from under the sink. She looked at herself in the mirror and began to cry again. I got glue in my hair, she saw. I was just trying to cut it out. Margaret's hair was halfway down her back, long. It was so hard not to notice that the whole part over her left ear was missing. Maybe if we even up a chunk over your right ear, I suggested. Margaret wiped her eyes dry and nodded. She handed me scissors. I cut. We looked back at the mirror. It's like bangs. I tried to cheer her up, sort of. Except bangs are in front of your hair, not on the sides. Then she took a deep sigh, picked up the scissors, and cut off the hair over her forehead. Now the front half of her hair was all chopped off, and the back half was long and straight and shiny. Not good, Margaret said, looking in the mirror. Not so good, I agree. We looked at her not so long good hair in the mirror for a really, really long time without saying anything, which is very hard for me. Then Margaret's bottom lip began to shiver, her eyes filled with tear balls again. She handed the scissors back to me, and then she closed her eyes and turned around. All of it, I asked? All of it. So I did, which is not exactly easy with those plastic art scissors, let me tell you. And just as I was finishing, the art teacher came in looking for us. Clementine! She shouted, what are you doing? And then Margaret went all hysterical, and the art teacher went all hysterical, and nobody could think of anything to do but accept the regular thing, which is send me to the principal's office. While I was waiting there, I drew a picture of Margaret with her top on her. I made her look beautiful like a dandelion. Here's a picture of that. If they had a special class for gifted kids in art, I would definitely be in it. But they don't, which is also unfair. Only for math and English. I am not so good in English. Okay, fine. But this year I am in the gifted class for math, and here's the bad surprise. So far, no gifts. I told Principal Rice about the problem when she got back from calming down Margaret's mother. I told her, so far, no gifts. I told her extremely politely. Principal Rice rolled her eyes to the ceiling. Then, like she was looking for something up there, ceiling snakes maybe, just waiting to drip on you. That's what I used to be afraid of when I was little. Anyways, now I'm not afraid of anything. Okay, fine, I'm afraid of pointing things. But that is all, and boomerangs. Clementine, you need to pay attention, said Principal Rice. We need to discuss Margaret's hair. What are you doing on the floor? Helping me look for ceiling snakes. I reminded her, ceiling snakes? What ceiling snakes? She asked.